Bonjour and welcome to FrenchPoply, where you learn real everyday French simply by listening.
Exactly.
I'm Camille from Switzerland, and I'm here to share the French I actually use in daily life.
And I'm Bastian from Germany. I'm learning French step by step right alongside all of you.
That's right.
We live on a boat, exploring the world harbor by harbor. Today, we're sailing from Geneva toward Tonane-les-Vosges, a charming village in France. And in this episode, we'll learn how to introduce ourselves and ask others about their name and where they come from.
Perfect skills for meeting new people. So let's begin. So I got something super cool for you today, Bastien. We're finally here at the harbor in Tournon-les-Bains. And I just really want to show you how French people actually introduce themselves when they meet new people.
Oh, wow. This place is absolutely gorgeous. I can already hear people talking in French everywhere. This is perfect for practicing what we learned last episode about je m'appelle, right?
Exactly. And today we're going way beyond just names. See, when French people meet each other, especially in a setting like this harbor where everyone's from different places, they want to know where you're from, where you live, what languages you speak. It's like a whole introduction ritual, you know?
Mm-hmm. That makes total sense. So, what are the key phrases I need to know?
Okay, so first thing. Well, you already know je m'appelle for your name, but then you'll want je viens de. That's for where you're from originally. Then j'habite un for where you currently live. And then je parle for which languages you speak.
Right, okay. And what about asking someone else about their background?
That's where it gets really, really useful. You can say et toi, which means and you. Super simple. Or if you want to be more specific, tu viens d'où means where are you from?
Oh, this is perfect timing because I can see some people over there by those sailboats. Should we go practice with real people?
Yes. Actually, I see my friends Mark and Sophie over there. They're both from the French-Swiss border area, so they'll be perfect to practice with. Let me introduce you to them first, and then you can try it yourself.
Perfect. I'm a bit nervous, but excited to try this out.
Mark, Sophie, salut, I want you to meet my friend Bastien. He's learning French with FrenchPoply, and we're working on introductions today.
Ah, salut Bastien, enchanté. Je m'appelle Marc, je viens de Genève, en Suisse, mais j'habite en France maintenant, près d'Annecy. Et toi?
Wow, okay. He spoke pretty fast there. Camille, can you break that down for me?
Of course. So Mark said je m'appelle Marc, his name, then je viens de Genève. En Suisse, he's from Geneva, Switzerland. But then he said j'habite en France maintenant. He lives in France now, near Annecy. And then he asked you et toi? And you?
Right. So he's originally from one place, but lives somewhere else now. That's exactly what those phrases are for, isn't it?
Exactly. And this is so common around here because people move around a lot between Switzerland and France for work. Let me have Sophie introduce herself too, and then you can try responding.
Bonjour Bastien, moi je m'appelle Sophie, je viens de Lausanne, en Suisse, mais comme Marc, j'habite en France aussi. Je parle français et allemand. Tu viens d'où toi?
Oh, wow. She mentioned languages too. Let me try to understand. She's Sophie, from Lausanne, Switzerland, but lives in France. And she speaks French and German?
Perfect. Yes, she said je parle français et allemand. I speak French and German. And at the end she asked you, tu viens d'où toi? Where are you from? So now you need to introduce yourself.
Okay, here goes. Je m'appelle Bastien. Je viens de Berlin, en Allemagne. J'habite en Allemagne aussi. Je parle allemand et un peu français.
Très bien, ton français est déjà très bon.
Oui, c'est excellent. Continue comme ça.
Bastien, that was fantastic. You used all the key phrases perfectly. Mark said your French is already very good. And Sophie said it's excellent. Keep going like that.
That felt amazing. But I want to make sure I really understand the difference between je viens de and j'habite en. Can you explain that again?
Absolutely. So, je viens de is about your origins, where you were born or where you're originally from. It's like your roots, you know? But j'habite un or j'habite à is where you currently live, your residence now. And as we saw with Mark and Sophie, these can be totally different places.
Right. That makes perfect sense. what about the prepositions? I noticed you said en Allemagne and en Suisse, but is it always en?
Great question. So N is for feminine countries and countries that start with a vowel, like en France, en Allemagne, en Italie. But for masculine countries, you use au, like au Canada, au Japon. And for cities, you usually use à Paris, à Berlin.
Wow. Okay, so there's definitely some grammar to learn there. But for now, should I just focus on getting comfortable with the basic phrases?
Exactly. Don't worry about memorizing all the preposition rules right now. Just practice with your own situation first. And you know what? Let's try something different. Why don't you ask Mark or Sophie a follow-up question using tu viens d'où?
Oh, that's a great idea. Marc, tu viens d'où exactement en Suisse?
Je viens de Genève, mais ma famille est originaire de Berne. Et toi, tu connais la Suisse?
Oh, this is perfect. Mark just gave you even more detail. He's from Geneva, but his family is originally from Bern. And then he asked if you know Switzerland. See how natural conversations build when you ask follow-up questions?
That's amazing. I feel like I'm getting a real sense of how these conversations flow. Should I try answering his question?
Go for it. And don't worry about being perfect. Just try to communicate your idea.
Non, je ne connais pas bien la Suisse, mais je voudrais visiter.
Ah, c'est formidable! Tu devrais vraiment venir. Genève et Lausanne sont magnifiques.
Bastian, you're doing so well. You said you don't know Switzerland well, but you'd like to visit. And Sophie said it's wonderful and you should really come. Geneva and Lausanne are magnificent. Look how you've moved from basic introductions to having a real conversation.
It's incredible. I can feel my confidence growing already. What other situations would I use these phrases in?
Oh, everywhere. At work meetings, at parties, in cafes, when you're traveling, French people are naturally curious about where people come from, especially because France has so many international residents and visitors like we see here at this harbor.
Mm-hmm. That's so practical. Before we wrap up, can you give our FrenchPoply listeners a quick summary of all the key phrases we covered today?
Of course. So we have je m'appelle for your name, that's review from last episode. Then je viens de for where you're originally from, j'habite en or j'habite à for where you currently live, and je parle for languages you speak. For asking others, you've got et toi, meaning and you, and tu viens d'où for where are you from.
Perfect. And the amazing thing is how these simple phrases opened up such rich conversations with Mark and Sophie. It really shows how much you can communicate with just a few key expressions.
Exactly. And the best part is that once you master these introduction phrases, you'll feel so much more confident starting conversations with French speakers. It's like having the keys to unlock friendship and connection, you know?
That's beautifully put, Camille. So for everyone listening to FrenchPoply, I'd really encourage you to practice these phrases with your own information. Try introducing yourself in French, using your real name, where you're from, where you live, and what languages you speak.
Yes, and if you get a chance to practice with native speakers, even better. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mark and Sophie were so encouraging, and most French speakers will be just as supportive when they see you making an effort.
Absolutely. And if you enjoyed this episode of FrenchPoply, please leave us a review and let us know what French topics you'd like us to explore next. We're always looking for new adventure locations where we can practice real French conversations.
Perfect. Until next time, keep practicing those introductions and remember, every conversation starts with a simple je m'appelle, à bientôt.
À bientôt everyone, and thanks for joining us on this FrenchPoply adventure.
Ah, attendez, Bastian, avant que vous partiez, j'ai une question pour vous. Vous avez dit que vous parlez un peu français, mais moi, je pense que votre français est déjà assez bon. Comment avez-vous appris?
Oh, what a lovely question. Mark said wait, and he wants to know how you learned French because he thinks your French is already quite good, better than on peut. He asked, comment avez-vous appris? How did you learn?
Oh, that's so encouraging. J'apprends avec Camille et j'écoute beaucoup de podcasts français. C'est mon moyen préféré.
Ah, c'est fantastique! Les podcasts, c'est une excellente méthode. Et vous écoutez quel podcast exactement? Nous, on adore découvrir de nouveaux podcasts français.
She said, that's fantastic. Podcasts are an excellent method. And then she asked which podcast exactly you listen to. They love discovering new French podcasts. This is perfect, Bastien. Tell them about FrenchPoply. Tell.
Well, J'écoute FrenchPoply. C'est un podcast pour apprendre le français avec des aventures réelles, comme aujourd'hui, ici au port.
Mais c'est génial ça. Apprendre le français avec des vraies situations. C'est beaucoup mieux que les livres traditionnels, non? Et vous apprenez aussi la culture française en même temps.
Mark is so excited. He said, "That's amazing, learning French with real situations. That's so much better than traditional books, right? And you learn French culture at the same time." And he's absolutely right. That's exactly our philosophy with FrenchPoply. Real conversations, real places, real people.
Exactement. Et vous savez quoi? Dans les livres, on apprend toujours « je suis de ». Mais nous, on dit plutôt « je viens de ». Comme vous avez fait, c'est beaucoup plus naturel en conversation.
Oh, this is such an important point. Sophie just said exactly. And you know what? In books, they always teach je suis de, but we rather say je viens de like you did. It's much more natural in conversation. This is why real-world practice is so valuable, Bastien. You're learning how people actually speak.
Wow, that's fascinating. So there are differences between formal French and conversational French. Are there other examples like this that I should know about?
Ah oui, par exemple, dans les livres on dit « quel est votre nom ?» Mais nous, on dit simplement « comment vous vous appelez ?» ou même « tu t'appelles comment ?» C'est plus naturel, plus amical.
Perfect example. Mark said that in textbooks they teach quel est votre nom, which is very formal, but in real conversation we say comment vous vous appelez. Or even tu t'appelles comment, it's more natural and friendly. And notice how this connects to what we learned today. Real French is about connection and warmth.
Et aussi, on dit souvent « tu fais quoi dans la vie ?» plutôt que « quelle est votre profession ?» quand on veut savoir le travail de quelqu'un. C'est plus décontracté, plus moderne.
Another great example. Sophie said we often say « tu fais quoi dans la vie ?» rather than « quelle est votre profession ?» when we want to know someone's job. It's more relaxed, more modern. Bastian, this could be perfect to add to your introduction toolkit. Why don't you try asking Mark what he does?
Okay, let me try. Marc, tu fais quoi dans la vie?
Je suis ingénieur informatique, je travaille pour une entreprise suisse, mais je vis côté français pour les impôts. C'est moins cher. Et toi, Bastian, tu fais quoi?
Fascinating. Mark said he's a computer engineer, ingénieur informatique, and he works for a Swiss company but lives on the French side because of taxes. It's cheaper. This is very common in border regions. And he asked you the same question back. Tu fais quoi? What should we tell him about your work?
Je suis étudiant. J'étudie l'économie à l'université. Et j'apprends le français parce que je veux travailler en Europe.
Ah, c'est formidable! L'économie en Europe, c'est un excellent choix. Et avec votre français qui s'améliore comme ça, vous allez avoir plein d'opportunités, surtout dans notre région, entre la Suisse et la France.
Sophie is so encouraging. She said, "That's wonderful. Economics in Europe is an excellent choice. And with your French improving like this, you'll have lots of opportunities, especially in our region, between Switzerland and France." And she's absolutely right. This border region has so many international businesses.
C'est vrai. Ici, on a beaucoup d'entreprises internationales. Et vous savez quoi? Dans les réunions de travail, on mélange souvent le français et l'anglais, surtout avec les collègues suisses allemands.
Mark just shared something really practical. He said, "That's true. Here we have many international companies. And you know what? In work meetings, we often mix French and English, especially with German-speaking Swiss colleagues. This is the reality of modern European business, Bastien. Your multilingual skills will be such an asset."
That sounds amazing. So my German and English could actually be advantages here too. It's like a perfect combination for this region.
Absolument. Avec l'allemand, le français et l'anglais, vous serez parfait pour les entreprises suisses. Beaucoup de nos amis travaillent à Genève, mais habitent en France. C'est très commun ici.
Sophie said, "Absolutely. With German, French and English, you'll be perfect for Swiss companies. Many of our friends work in Geneva but live in France. It's very common here." Bastien, this conversation has been incredible. We started with basic introductions and now we're talking about career opportunities and cross-border living.
It really has been amazing. I feel like I've learned so much more than just introduction phrases today. I've learned about real French conversation style, regional culture, career opportunities. It's like a whole cultural immersion.
C'est exactement ça. Apprendre une langue, c'est apprendre une culture. Bastian, si vous revenez dans la région, contactez-nous. On sera ravis de vous faire découvrir d'autres endroits.
Et bonne chance pour vos études et votre futur travail en Europe. Votre français est vraiment impressionnant. Continuez comme ça, on vous souhaite le meilleur.
Such wonderful people. Mark said, that's exactly it. Learning a language is learning a culture, and invited you to contact them if you come back to the region. And Sophie wished you good luck with your studies and future work in Europe. She said your French is really impressive and to keep going like that.
Merci beaucoup, Marc et Sophie. C'était fantastique de vous rencontrer. Thank you so much for being so patient and encouraging with my French. This has been an incredible learning experience.
What a perfect way to end our extended FrenchPoply adventure. This conversation has shown us that language learning is so much more than memorizing phrases. It's about connecting with people, understanding culture, and opening doors to new opportunities. Until our next adventure, keep practicing. And remember, every French conversation is a chance to discover something new.
Absolutely. This has been such an inspiring day here at the harbor in Tournon-les-Bains. To all our FrenchPoply listeners, I hope this shows you that real conversations in French aren't scary at all. They're opportunities for connection, learning, and growth. Merci beaucoup for joining us on this adventure, and à bientôt.